welcome to another video. Today we're back in my grind sketchbook because we're doing a study, you guys. I know I said prior that I didn't really want to draw people in this sketchbook just because I kind of want to focus on drawing things that and maybe I'm not so good at, and I was like, I'm kind of good at drawing people, so maybe we'll just keep our people studies sort of kind of in the other sketchbooks. But you guys, I've been thinking for the last couple of weeks, and I was like really dissatisfied with my art. And I think a big part of that is I don't know how to draw hair. I feel like I'm not very good at drawing hair at all. So we're just doing some hair studies. I just pulled up some pretty girls on Instagram and I try to draw some of their hairstyles. Not entirely sure if any of these are very good at all, but I did them and I like some of the hairstyles. Like one of them I was like, oh, I should give that to a character, it's kind of cute. So yeah, we're just doing some hairstyle studies. I didn't really focus too much on anything in particular, except I kind of want to focus on the hair parts. I was watching some YouTube videos about drawing hair, and they're like, the hair comes from the skull, and I was like, yeah, thanks for that, fucking genius. But they're like, no, it's like you have to like draw some sort of directionality, and so it has to lead back to the skull in just any sort of way. Like your hair grows from different points in your skull, right? And so I was just trying to figure out places for the hair to grow out of the skull in a particular way. Like the hair part, obviously if your hair is parted, it's coming from the part, right? The hair is coming from the part. And so I was trying to figure that out. I was like, why is this so hard to figure out? I guess it's because I don't really think about that sort of thing when I draw hair. I kind of just draw it coming out of wherever, if I'm being honest. I don't really keep the hair part or the placement of the hair really super duper consistent, I don't think. I mean, I draw some characters consistently, but I'm not really thinking about the hair coming out of the head, if that makes sense. And that's why I always had trouble like dividing hair into sections. They say that's the best way to draw hair, is not to think of it as like sort of kind of individual strands, but think of it as like chunks. And so I've tried to do that prior, but I feel like my chunks are maybe a little bit too inorganic. Like they have waves and stuff in them, but they don't look like have hair texture unless I color them. And so I'm like trying to figure out a way to like sort of kind of make it look like hair without the use of color. I feel like if I use color, I can make it look like hair. Like you guys have seen me color hair before. I feel like when I color hair, it looks like hair. But I feel like if I'm not coloring it, it doesn't really look so much like hair. And that's sort of kind of my issue. I need to learn how to draw hair with lines, and I don't know how to do that. And so I'm trying to do that here. I don't know specifically what pictures I pulled off Pinterest. I literally just typed hairstyles in and just did like the first 8 or so that popped up. I try to do like a variety, like for different hair textures and stuff. But I don't know, you guys. I don't know what it is about hair that I find so difficult to do. This is because it's not really entirely super solid. Like obviously your hair is in individual strands and stuff, but all that leads up to like larger chunks, and I don't know, especially like curly hair. I have curly hair and I really cannot draw curly hair. It does not look curly at all, and I'm trying to figure out a way to do it in a way that I like a little bit better, because obviously right now it's just like sort of kind of squiggles, and even hair that is not curly, I can't draw straight hair either. I'm like, I struggle so much with hair, you guys. I think the only hair that I can really say I'm okay at drawing is hair with like a little bit of a wave to it, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So I try to do some hair studies. I try not to focus too much on the face at all. Like I draw the head in because obviously the hair goes on the head. And I didn't really want to put any facial features on any of these faces. I do end up putting some facial features on the faces because I wasn't really thinking about it. I was like, well, I need to draw like the placement of her eyes so that way I know where the hair goes. And I really have a lot of trouble placing the hairline too, because I'm like, all the characters I draw, they have like no forehead, which means they have like no brain. And so something about placing the hairline, I'm like, I need to leave enough space for the eyebrows, but I draw the eyebrows so thick, even if I give the character like an adequate amount of space for their forehead, it still doesn't look like a lot because the eyebrows are so thick. You guys, I don't know when I started drawing eyebrows super thick, but it's a big problem for me. I have to draw the foreheads even bigger when I'm like, looks massive. It's like, it's not that big, it's just the eyebrows you draw are too big. And so I'm like, I should probably try to draw eyebrows smaller, but every time I just go and I draw an eyebrow and I'm not thinking about it, I make it like super thick. I did not used to draw that way, you guys. Honestly, prior to this, the way I drew eyebrows, it was pretty much just a line. I had to like force myself to draw eyebrows a little bit thicker, and then after a while I think it started with hope, because I was like, well, what if he had like really thick eyebrows? And I drew him with really thick eyebrows, and I was like, I like that so much. And then I just added that to everybody that I ever drew. I mean, some characters don't have really thick eyebrows, like Kira and James, their eyebrows are pretty small. But the rest of my characters, honestly, they have really thick eyebrows. And I'm like, stop doing that. Not everybody needs super thick eyebrows. And Katsuo doesn't really have thick eyebrows. Or Paxton, but everybody else does. And I'm like, tone it down. They don't need thick eyebrows. Just chill out with that. And I guess Emerson's eyebrows are not that thick, but I have to deliberately make sure that I don't draw Emerson's eyebrows thick, because his little pointy arrow type eyebrows are a design choice on purpose, because it makes him look angrier, I feel like, because they come up until this little point. So I do that on purpose. So I think I just need to design like unique eyebrows for all my characters, and maybe that'll make me chill out with drawing them so thick. But I don't know, you guys. I did like doing these studies though, because I kind of feel like every time I draw a hairstyle, I have like the same 2 go-to hairstyles. And I'm not really good at varying hairstyles at all. I'm like, I don't know, maybe their hair is down and maybe it's wavy, or maybe it's up and it's wavy. And so this was really fun. Like just drawing this wolf cut, I'm like, I sucked at drawing that wolf cut, if I'm being honest. Honestly though, it might not be a wolf cut. It might be a jellyfish cut. I'm not entirely sure, you guys. The point is that it's gotten me to draw just a little bit of different hairstyles. And so I'm like, oh, I should start giving these to different characters. Like the one with the braids, the ones that are like the loop braids and the braids that come down on the side. I was like, I like that. I'm going to give that to a character. And I have to draw a bunch of characters, come up with a bunch of character designs, because I've been working on thinking about the comic with Nick and Kira, and I was like, oh, they should have a bunch of different mafia families and stuff. And I was like, oh, there should be 5 mafia families and like 5 gangs, and then they should all be fighting. And I was like, that's at least 10 people I need to design the leaders, and that's not even including subordinates. And I'm like, oh, that's gonna take forever. Which is not a problem. I do really like to design characters. I just need to come up with like motifs and stuff for them, and it should not be super hard, not take me very long. They're not gonna be like 100% the best character designs or anything, but doing some different hairstyle studies will help me try to figure out some sort of hairstyles I want to do for them, because I don't really ever do anything super extreme with my hair, so it's kind of hard for me to come up with hairstyles, and I don't really look at other people's hair either. I'm just like, I don't really think about people that much. And so I just need to come up with some different hairstyles. And so this was kind of a good study for that. I don't think any of them came out looking particularly good, but that's not super important. Maybe I should stop trying to say that. I'd say that a lot. I'm like, I don't really like any of these drawings, but that's like not the point. I was just going to tell you guys whenever I like one a lot. So like I said though, I do like that one in the center, like dead in the center. I don't like the drawing, but I do like the way that the hairstyle looks. And so I'm going to try to incorporate that into a character. I'll let you guys know if I end up doing it. Anyway, here we are at the end of the video, you guys. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'll go ahead and see you in the next one. Bye.